You can get your tickets now for the Progressive 50-50 in support of the Neepawa Curling Club and the Yellowhead Center by scanning the QR code on your screen now. The final draw will be February 12th at 3:45. Tickets are 1 for $3, 2 for $5, 5 for $10, or 12 for $20.
Curling in the small town part of Manitoba is really big in the winter. It's something for the community to do, and it really brings the community together. We can hold annual events like our Bonspiels and our weekly nights. It's really something to do for everyone in the community. You can do it from any age.
You can win a pair of tickets for the 2023 Tim Hortons Brier in London or the 2023 BKT Tires and OK Tire Men's Worlds in Ottawa, plus $500. Or maybe equip your team with a set of 4 of Asham's new Ultra Force brushes. And at the same time, support the Manitoba Curling Hall of Fame and Museum and Curl Manitoba's Curling for Life Endowment Fund. Raffle tickets are available now, 1 for $5, 4 for $10, 10 for $20. Buy online at fundingchange.ca/Curl Manitoba or scan the QR code on your screen right now. Welcome to Neepawa, Manitoba. It is the 2023 Viterra Men's Curling Championship. It is the 98th Manitoba Men's Curling Championship. We're inside the Yellowhead Center where the final 8 teams, the 32-team final qualifying round is finished yesterday afternoon. 8 teams have come in, and we've got now, in fact, our first 2 qualifiers to advance to the championship round will be determined on this draw. They will be Steve Irwin playing, who the heck is he? He's playing Reed Carruthers, and Braden Calvert playing Matt Dunstone. Resby Coots alongside Barry Gorlick. Barry, you haven't been able to be with us through the first few days, but I know you've been watching from a distance. Impressions of the event formed based on watching.
It's great to be here live, Resby, after an easy cruise across the prairies this morning.
Beautiful morning.
Beautiful morning, guided by a 2/3 rock-sized moon. Watching on TV, what strikes me is the vibrance of the play, of the colors. It's just fabulous.
And, of course, as we did 10 days ago at East St. Paul, focused on center sheet, impressions of the ice.
The ice looks superb. Chief ice maker Greg Owasco told me this morning that he's happy with exactly 6 feet of curl. And I think that's exactly what the players look for as well. And the rocks are moving and grabbing as they're expected to based on the amount of clip he's done to the pebble. And you can see with that first shot, it's actually over curled across the center line. So stay tuned, viewers. You're going to see a lot of movement today.
So our game, as you will have noticed, is Justin Richter and his team from the Beausejour Curling Club. Kyle Einarson is the third. Jarrett Litke is the second. Mitch Einarson is the lead for Justin Richter out of Beausejour. They will have hammer based on the fact that they did do a pregame draw to the button, and Richter covered the pinhole with his draw. The opponent is the Corey Chambers team out of the Fort Garry Curling Club in Winnipeg. At third, Daley Peters. Second is Julian Leduc. The lead, Brendan Bolaka for Corey Chambers and his team from the Winnipeg Fort Garry. So we saw that first guard over curl and now has been tapped far to the side. Chambers is going to try to go around a center guard not on the center line.
And that's former world mixed champion team member Brendan Bolaka with his second stone, a member of the 2019 Colin Kurtz team. whose first rock over-curled a bit, but he's got a real peach coming in with his second one to actually make use of the yellow guard.
As Barry has said in the opening, the ice conditions very similar to what they've been through our earlier event at East St. Paul with the Manitoba Scotties Championship and through the early part of this week.
Yep.
And Resby, we'll get into it later in this telecast and other telecasts, but I had the privilege of speaking to some of the players who were here earlier in the week who, let's just say, ended up being at home. And their insights into the difference between this arena ice and this Curl Manitoba new rock set and the rocks that we play with at the club level and the various clubs in Winnipeg are very insightful. It was challenging.
And that comes from the fact that, the 32-team round is really the final round of qualifying for what is effectively the 8-team Manitoba Curling Championship. That 8-team event is on now.
Exactly.
You know, and it could be that final round of qualifying could happen elsewhere at a different time, a month ago to eliminate down to 8 players, but it wouldn't be the same event if it were done that way.
Agreed. I'm going to declare my allegiance now as a lifelong Manitoban. 5-rock rule coming into effect. The Yellowstone actually made its way to the bumper, so it has to be replaced based on the assessment of Chambers as to where it was when it was contacted.
You're good with that?
And you can see the gentlemanly approach. You're good with that, meaning I hope I'm close, to which Chambers said, well, I can't remember, but I'm good with that.
Speed's okay here?
So the Yellowstones are thrown by Justin Richter. Now, my understanding is he has the choice whether to put that yellow rock back since it was a yellow guard removed.
The unoffending team in any instance where a rock is burned across the hog line or touched in the free guard zone always has the discretionary choice, yes.
No.
So I was saying 8 teams. As a homer, I would say this. I'd put any of these 8 teams up against any other 8 teams in any other province or territory in Canada. They're all that good.
Same way, it was good.
And we'll figure out by tomorrow afternoon which one is just that little bit better this weekend in Neepawa, Manitoba. The other games on the ice, we have Ryan Wiebe playing JT Ryan. Ryan Wiebe came through the A side of the qualifying round undefeated, but lost last evening to Reed Carruthers, who was simply on fire last night. And JT Ryan had a really good day yesterday, big comeback win over Jeff Stewart, and won his second game. Maybe tired a little, maybe just wrong side of the inch as the JT Ryan team was moved to the side by Steve Irwin, who is that somewhat unknown Western Manitoba team. Not unknown in the fact that these guys all know they can play, but they don't play very much anymore. They don't go and do much bonspieling, and so I talked with Ryan Wiebe ahead of the event, and I said, let's go with the assumption that the 5 top-seeded teams are going to be in the final 8. Who's the next one? Who's the team? He said, no question, Steve Irwin is the guy we don't want to play against. So they've got a solid team. They've played well. And 3 times in Steve Irwin's career, he has qualified for the final round through the A side of the elimination round. 3 times he's done that in Neepawa, Manitoba. So Steve Irwin really loves this curling arena.
There's something else with the Irwin team, the cohesiveness and their experience together as teammates. They know each other inside out. They're multi-time curling club champions. Sure, they don't tour, but there's no shortcoming in their knowledge of the game or their knowledge of each other's games, which is critical in an event like this. You said, Resby, tomorrow one team might be just a little bit better. Stop me if I say this too often, but it could just become the difference between a shot here and a shot there.
Very much. That one shot, as you've said in other streamcasts, that one shot that simply must be made, that this time isn't quite made.
Speaking of which, the guard that was played curled a little bit too far, and it's given Chambers at least a look at the stones in the 4-foot ring.
That was Kyle Anderson's first stone of this end. And we now see Daley Peters, a name very familiar, obviously, to Manitoba curling fans, and the late, great Vic Peters, his dad.
And someone who can throw up weight using the classic made in Manitoba tuck slide, as well as anybody in the province.
Halfway.
So Richter lies a couple. Chambers hoping to get a shot at banging a red guard onto the 2 yellows, but Richter will play a guard. The other games we've mentioned, Calvert, Dunstone, Irwin, Carruthers, those are the 2 qualifying round games. Those 2 teams, the winners, will go to the top side of the Page playoff draw, the championship Final 4.
Nope. Where is it? McMunn? Halfway? McMunn? Mitch? Whoa, whoa, whoa.
So you can see with this second guard attempt, a very nice adjustment.
Yep. Good.
An extra rock width of ice, and not surprisingly, the rock stopped almost a rock width closer to the center line.
Try it. I guess. I mean, the good
And
thing is the draw's not easy anymore.
that
so you
McMunn
can't
and
make-
Yates
yeah,
logo
exactly
that
what
we
they're thinking,
see
yeah.
prominently about 4.5 feet outside the rings. Very much the marker that we use, but more importantly, the marker that the teams use as location for well-placed guards.
Yep, Resby, it's an important point. If they're in the white space between the top of the 12 and the McMunn and Yates logo, that's position 3 as it's called, that's too tight. The run back ability of these teams mean that they're going to get that run back 8 or 9 times out of 10. If it's positioned as this one is, a foot or 2 outside the McMunn and Yates logo, it just makes that run back mathematically more difficult.
Buddy will play past it with the hopes of picking a Yellowstone out of the back of the 4-foot. Does exactly that. That was Corey Chambers with his first rock of the end.
If I touch the guard and split it, it's not the end of the world. It's like, how do I get to there?
So Richter and his third man looking at options in regard to where can we put a rock that's going to get us a second point.
I think it's a waste of a rock.
And just for our viewers who maybe don't watch competitive curling as often as others, Chambers will win this end in his mind if he can hold Richter to a single point. Using up his hammer in the first end, only getting a single. We'll talk about the arithmetic of a curling game later, but over the space of a 10-end game, holding your opponent to a single usually means you're going to win the game.
So they looked at trying to go across the center line, but they're going to come around the guard.
And this is interesting. You can see the brush is being held about 8 inches outside the 12-foot, hearkening back to our opening comments about the amount of curl in this ice already. And it will only curl more as the game goes on.
Keep it out there, Mitch. Keep it out there. Get out this long as you can. Yep. Hard. Hard for line. Hard. Hard, guys. You got it. Go. Hard, guys. Hard.
Oh, that's good brushing, Resby.
Just wait. Just wait. Get by. Get by. Hard. Hard line. Go. Go, go, go. Gotta be lower. Whoa.
Well, you can throw it now. Get them both.
Yeah, I might give him a shot for 3, though.
Yep.
He had hoped to slide past that red rock just nestled up beside it.
Guard that. And probably easier this way
What's that?
to guard it.
Oh, yeah. I
So
know it is. It should
completely
be.
antithetical
It's gotta
to
take,
his
like,
gene
right?
pool, even Daley Peters has agreed, and I'm not sure his late father
How do you
Dick
try
would
to
have,
pick it?
that given that it's the first end, it's better to
Good.
stay a little bit on the
there's
conservative
no
side
danger.
than
Honestly,
the
it
aggressive
might
side.
touch
You
this
all
one.
heard what
Might
they
make 'em
said.
both. Might make 'em both.
Didn't want to give
Let's try that.
an opportunity to
So,
Richter for 3,
something like this?
so they're
Yeah.
trying to
that enough to
force
get by?
the single.
Probably not.
No, I agree.
So Corey Chambers in the hack for his second stone, his final stone here in the opening end of our playoff round. Final 8 B side. This is an elimination game.
Yep. Whoa. Yep. Whoa. Yes. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
Oh, boy.
What a shot.
Once again picks out a rock that you might have wondered, is it even possible to touch it? But he did pick it out.
Daly played this a couple times and it moved, eh?
So he had
I'm not going to throw
2 inches visible and hit 1.25 inches.
Very nice shot to force Richter to play the run back if he wants a 2. He's willing to take the gamble. If he gives up a 1, obviously disappointed, but the risk reward on a run back for 2 versus giving up a 1 first end of the game merits this decision.
Added bonus, he'll retain hammer into the second even end, which again is a recipe for ultimate success if that's the way the game plays out.
So it's Justin Richter with an out-turn hit, a run back. He's got to push that Yellowstone about 6 to 8 feet. Nose hit, not quite. Will give up the steal of 1. And so first blood for Corey Chambers and his team from the Winnipeg Fort Garry Curling Club. We'll go to our first break. We'll be back with end number 2 from Nipawin, the 2023 Viterra Championship, in just a moment. We hope you're enjoying this Manitoba Championship Sunrise Morning Draw, brought to you by Sunrise Credit Union. Building a brighter future together.
Eat.
Meet.
Stay.
Canad Inn's destination centers are your home for hospitality, with 10 locations in Manitoba and 1 in North Dakota, featuring the finest in accommodations, food and beverage, entertainment, banquet and conference facilities, and so much more. For the best service and best value, your only stop is Canad Inns. Call today at 1-888-33-CANAD or visit us right now at canadinns.com.
Where can you find handmade pizza, classic burgers, scrumptious salads, the finest Manitoba-sourced fried chicken, and so much more? Chicken Chef, bring your appetite. We'll take care of the rest.
Curl Manitoba is proudly sponsored by Manitoba Pork, locally grown, globally preferred. Back inside the Nipawin Yellowhead Center, the 2023 Viterra Championship. We're going to have a dandy here today, Barry Gorlick. The opening end suggests Corey Chambers is throwing the rock perfectly, the way he picked out those 2 shots out of the 4-foot circle. And Justin Richter with his last rock over curling just a little bit on an 8-foot run back for 2. This one's going to get interesting.
Yeah, there's something that matters even at this level, Resby. This is now day 4 for these teams on this ice surface, reminding themselves what this rock set runs like and feels like. And so they're not only zoned in emotionally, but they're zoned in to exactly what the characteristics of the rock's movement on the surface are. And their tolerance levels are reduced virtually down, as we saw with that lovely pick shot, down to 1 inch or less, which club curlers can only dream about. They've come out of the hack firing, and as you can see, Chambers is intent in this end on cluttering up the center line with rocks of his team's color, whereas Richter is trying to make use of the corner guard that his lead put up with his first one.
Go! Hard! Hard, 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 hard! Go, 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 go! Very nice. Shot, Edge.
An interesting aspect of this final 8, Barry, if you go back to the start of the week, 32 teams, I would suggest that there are 20 to 24 teams whose primary objective for a curling season is, in fact, to play in this event in these conditions. It's the highlight of their year, and I think in an honest moment of reflection, they might say, I'm not sure we want to go to the Brier. In their heart, they want to go to the Brier, but in their mind, they know they may not belong there. That is not the case with any of these 8 teams. These teams all believe that if they go to the Brier, they have the opportunity to be competitive. And so the dream is that close for all of them.
Absolutely.
Not unrealistic. I know that they acknowledge that the likes of a Matt Dunstone is way more comfortable in that arena than they would be, but they would love the chance.
2 words, and you can pick up on these. Jack McDuff, a Brier long ago. Would you like to assist our viewers in remembering that story?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Jack McDuff in Regina, Saskatchewan, wins to go to the World Championship. Absolutely on fire for a week at the Brier, the first team ever from the province of Newfoundland, Labrador to win. Had the week of a lifetime in Regina. One wonders, of course, whether as life went on, whether the week of a lifetime they remembered was the week in Regina or the week subsequent when they went to the World Championship and couldn't recapture the magic. But they did have that week.
That's all it takes. But that's everything it takes.
It's what all of us as curlers, in our youth at least, strove for. So the yellow team is the Richter team. They got the corner guard they wanted early, but a red center guard, a couple of rocks into the rings.
Well, even that's interesting. That corner guard, now that we've seen the way this end has played out so far, was actually not quite close enough to the rings, because although the second lead stone was essentially fully buried, at least from line of sight, in fact, it was open with a hack weight shot to be removed, with a nice roll as a consequence. So we were saying this during the Scotties week. No stone in the rings with a single guard in front of it is safe.
Well, that's the case we have right now. We have a
I think so. We're playing this
yellow
turn,
rock behind center, red. The Chambers team lying one open in the edge of the 8-foot circle. And Daly Peters will play the runback.
And that's Daly's out turn. That one hung on him a little bit, but awfully close.
Kyle Anderson's opening stone. We're down to third stones here in Chambers-Richter match.
Oh, close. Yep. Hard.
The Anderson call is to go across the face of the red stone in the 8-foot, try to curl or roll wide, but in fact over curls. Ends up with a pretty fine result from a less than fine execution.
There's a small movement that has no traction at all that has existed for years, suggesting that curling should be a call shot game. It's not, and a shot like that benefits a team, and the goddess of curling, being benevolent, has a way of making it up to the other team at some point during the game.
It'll come back during the game, no question. But so yellow, Team Richter lies one in the 8-foot circle. The red rock rolled a little bit buried, but certainly with the curl in this ice, completely accessible for Kyle Anderson, the left-hander, throwing his out turn.
Yep. Real hard.
Hard brushing inside to hold it on line.
Hard for the roll in. Hard.
He will curl to the guard.
I agree.
Kyle would probably like that one back, a little down in weight and maybe a little bit soft on the release.
Trying to throw normal. Yeah, feel.
So, an opportunity lost for this moment in time.
No
Corey
point in
Chambers
throwing
will come to the hack to
There's
throw
no point in throwing normal.
a hit, a nose hit,
Yeah.
splits the rings, puts Richter in
Just
a
let her
position
last,
where
Dale.
he may have to take a point.
Little less. Clean.
The Chambers hit underway.
Clean.
He throws his in-turn
Clean.
outside in.
Clean.
Nose hit. Looking at our other three games, opening end, we had a 1, a 2, and a 3 scored. Braden Calvert a single to go 1 up on Matt Dunstone. Steve Irwin a deuce to go up 2 on Reed Carruthers. Ryan Weeb a 3 to go up 3, playing the second end on JT Ryan.
You guys thinking speed's the same here, right? I think we have to
So as I was gazing around at the other sheets, Barry, I missed the call here. What is Justin Richter's plan?
He's just playing his in-turn draw
shot rock. We
to
definitely
be shot rock, but to try to make whatever use he can of the redstone at the top of the 12-foot on the right as a partial guard.
Little tight. I don't mind the line. Just for weight. Tight. Line's fine. T-line. Just T-line. T-line. Hard line. T. Just T.
More than anything else, this call tells you that Justin knows he's going to be drawing for 1 with his last rock.
Hard.
Just rolls wide open.
It's interesting to be here live for the first time, Resby, watching on television, especially with the overheads. The amount of curl as the last 3 or 4 feet of speed is coming off the rocks is unbelievable, especially out to the wings. And that was a clear example of it there. His weight was perfect, but he actually needed probably 6 inches more ice.
So, Corey Chambers.
Hard. Yep.
Once more an in-turn.
Really gotta go. Hard. Really gotta go.
Just past the guard.
Okay.
Rolls buried. Lying 3 is Corey Chambers. Justin Richter comes to the hack. He's just throwing a draw.
Still a nervy shot in the second end, Resby, but he'll make this 9 times out of 10.
You guys swept it a bit, and we were just behind T. Okay, same weights feel good then, eh?
Well, if this is the 10th time, it'll be a short game, so. Justin Richter's last shot, draw, underway. Not curling as much as he had hoped, planned,
Do we need
expected.
to rub? We're not rubbing, guys. We're by. We're by.
He's going to slide past that rock. Top 8 foot.
Look at that rock finish.
Bite. 4 foot, almost full 4 foot biting, and it is a single point for Justin Richter and his team from Beausejour. Corey Chambers, Fort Garry, Justin Richter, Beausejour. 1-1 after 2. We'll be back with the third end from Neepawa in just a moment.
Today's sponsor, PharmaSave. Canada's community pharmacy is proud to support Canada's community game.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Asham Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Asham Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at asham.com.
You can win a pair of tickets for the 2023 Tim Hortons Briar in London or the 2023 BKT Tires and OK Tire Men's Worlds in Ottawa, plus $500. Or maybe equip your team with a set of 4 of Asham's new Ultra Force brushes. And at the same time, support the Manitoba Curling Hall of Fame and Museum and Curl Manitoba's Curling for Life Endowment Fund. Raffle tickets are available now. 1 for $5, 4 for $10, 10 for $20. Buy online at fundingchange.ca/Curl Manitoba or scan the QR code on your screen right now.
So we return to the Neepawa Arena, the Yellowhead Center, Neepawa, Manitoba, the 2023 Manitoba Viterra Men's Curling Championship. Trades of singles. Justin Richter, a bit of a gamble in the opening end, attempted a 8-foot run back for a possible 2, knowing that he would give up the steal of 1 if he missed it. Overcurled just a little bit, didn't get the angle he needed, and gave up that single steal.
Gotta go for weight. Never you.
Corey Chambers and his team split the house, effectively controlled the second end, forcing Richter to draw facing 3 with his last rock. He put the rock full in the 4-foot, almost biting the button. And so we sit now, for the first time, Corey Chambers will have last rock in this game.
Brendan Balaka's corner guard attempt really moved so far that there's only the edge of the 12-foot available to get in behind it.
We're all there.
And I know Brendan won't mind me saying a good morning to his grandfather,
We're in again.
Marcel
Get lower
Wozni,
than
with
this one.
whom I
Go,
used
go,
to
go.
curl at East St. Paul a few years
go,
ago,
go.
and I'm sure he's watching and is as proud of his grandson this morning as he's ever been.
Okay, Mitch. Yep.
So hoping to get a little deeper pair of yellow stones, a pair of Richter stones. Close together,
Yep.
top corner of the
Yep.
rings, and a
Hard.
clearing shot here.
Whoa.
Overcurls just a little bit, leaves one yellow stone, rolls right out of the rings. A chance for early in the end, however, but a chance for Richter to work at trying to force Chambers to take the single this end.
Although it's early, Chambers' plan A, if he can't get multiple points, is definitely to try to get a blank, to shift then his hammer into the even ends, giving him the end-to-end advantage as we approach the 10th. Never too early to take the hammer in the even ends.
Go. Go. Go, go, go. Go. Very nice.
Why?
Whoa. Yep. Whoa. 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 Whoa.
Julian Leduc is the second.
Whoa.
Attempting to run through again, not quite, but he does leave a
Place it.
corner that's more usable, tighter to the rings, closer to the center line.
A little
guys,
tighter.
easy.
Mitch's rock only. Nope. Kyle's rock.
It'll come across.
As long as it's up front. No, preferably not.
Slides to bite. Chambers will play once again a double kill attempt.
Yep. Yes. Hard.
This time gets that nose jam.
Tremendous leg drive generated by Julian Leduc. He might have been off camera, but he was only a few feet behind the rock as it crossed the scoring end of the hog line.
I think we might have to go a bit.
These are all top athletes.
Yep. Just for weight. Just for weight, like
Kyle Anderson, his out turn, or his in turn, the left-hander. He's trying to go deeper, get back to the tee line, tucked under the red and the yellow.
We can take a small rub then, maybe. Beauty. Yeah.
A little rub there to be roll pretty much open,
Not really,
but
but
Chambers
again,
will once again run red onto yellow, red.
Yeah.
Possible double kill if he actually gets the right angles. He probably also rolls on to sit a couple.
Whoa. Curl! 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 Straight!
But no, needed a curl.
Just tuck. Just tuck, Paul.
Down
6.5 second up weight from Daly Peters, hog to hog. That rock is really coming at us, Resby.
So down to the last of third stones here in the third end, and Justin Richter very much now thinking, maybe even shifting his mind thought.
Where's it? Where's it?
Mind is thought from force to steal.
No, just needs to die. Need to leave as much separation as we can.
He certainly wants to put the pressure on. His problem is the red guard is very close to the rings. Daly's had one practice shot. I'll get a time on this.
Yep! Yes!
It is the big weight in turn.
6 seconds, hog to hog.
Does move everything, but leaves that yellow rock at the side.
Like even right here. Shot
2 millimeters higher, and everything goes.
And just try and separate the rings here. But I don't want to play right over to that corner, so we're just trying like back 8, back 4 on the 4-foot line. I'm safe to assume same speed here.
Opportunity to come to the tee line,
Try and make sure that even or lower
cross
you
the
guys
center
can.
line, separate those two yellow stones. Force definitely on now if Richter can put that second point in the rings.
T-line.
And the mindset shifted a little bit back now from steel to force.
Could be a slower side,
Just T, guys.
All you. Even or lower. Even or lower. Right on, guys. Real nice judge.
No double possibility there. The rock separated by 8 feet. Interesting that that finishing position started with the brush about 4 inches outside the 8-foot ring. So here again, we're seeing a good 6 feet of movement, if not perhaps 6 feet 3 inches. Still early in the game.
So Chambers will play on the wide rock. The roll to the center line creates the possibility of his final shot being against a couple of stones closer together. Playing on the center rock, there's no roll possibility to still be in play.
Whoa. Yep. Hard. Yep. Hard.
That's pretty good.
It's the best he could have accomplished. He did get it back to the center line to set up the pair. If Richter happens to nose hit, there's the possibility of a blank. Richter needs to hit and roll wide into the 12-foot circle. May still leave a makeable double for Corey Chambers, the way he's been playing.
I see just a touch more. Yeah.
And I reflect back to 2013, the last time the event was played here in this arena. Corey Chambers was at third for Sean Grassie. Sean Grassie challenged and seriously challenged Jeff Stoughton to the final, and a secret to Grassie's success, although Grassie has been a fine player for a long time. Corey Chambers played remarkably well that week at third for Grassie, and was a key to helping that team get to the final against Stoughton.
And curling being curling, we spoke of the 32-team field. 10 years later, Sean Grassie was here with a different team, competing as effectively as he could. Now that has left a double.
Yeah, you can roll into it. Yeah.
Can he make the double and roll out the back, or is it sufficiently angled and flat, whichever way you want to describe it, that he will jam?
Yeah. Knows he can flat roll into it too.
I'll be a little quicker with the stylus on the telestrator, dear viewers. I'm just finishing my second cup of coffee of the morning.
So it is a Chambers out-turn hit. He'll want to get across the nose of the stone, low side as they call it. Does hit and roll. So Richter accomplishes his objective. He forces Corey Chambers to take a single point here on the third end. It is Chambers 2, Richter 1. After 3, we'll be back in Neepawa in a moment.
We hope you're enjoying this Manitoba Championship Curling, brought to you by Seagram's 83, Manitoba's favorite Canadian whiskey.
At McMunn & Yates, we've always believed that good neighbors make for better communities. McMunn & Yates has everything you need for your next project, right at your fingertips. And McMunnandYates.com will always be there, ready to help.
You work hard to keep it all together. And when you need a little help, we're there. At PharmaSave, we see you.
Live well with PharmaSave.
Back into the Yellowhead Center in Neepawa, the 2023 Viterra Championship. Resby Coots with Barry Gorlick. And Barry, the kind of game we're seeing, we just know by the end of this game that it's going to be, I suggest, a big shot that wins the game in a close game at the end.
Sure looks that way. They're going to be trading singles, maybe a pair, and somebody's going to have to figure out in which end they try to do something extra special to try to get a 3 if possible, or at least a 2. You see, these teams are both good hitting teams. Both thirds can throw up weight, and these lumps of granite, even if they're across the rings from each other, really don't stand a chance with 6-second hog-to-hog weight. The type that Daley Peters threw on his last one in the third end. So they're going to have to shift to a finesse game, try to set up some cover, and try to get multiple rocks clustered behind at least 2 guards in order to get a multiple score.
Don't mind the line. A little bit more room.
And you said the thirds both throw up weight. They both throw up weight accurately, which is obviously very important.
Kyle, go. You got to go all the way.
So accurately, in fact, that when they're throwing really hard, even with the amount of curl in this ice, they're getting edge of rock, 2 inches outside the edge of rock, and splitting the target rock right down the middle.
So a couple of Richter stones, 4 foot behind a red Chambers guard just off center. Leduc playing the run through. straight back run double kill.
It's as if they were listening to us, Resby. A single guard isn't doing anything for anybody in this game on this ice with the quality of this rock set.
So I'm going to jump to sheet B for a moment. We can't show you the picture, but I can give you the radio version with 2 red, which is Steve Irwin, rocks to come, 1 yellow, Carruthers rocks to come. Irwin with hammer obviously lies 3 and working on putting Reed Carruthers in a world of hurt here if he can get a rock top corner of the forefoot. Strong sweepers by Travis Sabin, and he does get the bite on the corner of the forefoot. Carruthers is going to have to promote a rock. He can play either side with a promotion, but he's not going to be lying shot rock when he's finished.
Shot.
Once again, second Julian Leduc, run back, picks the rock out from behind it in the forefoot circle. And to give you an indication how much trouble Reed Carruthers is in, he has taken his first time out of the game in the third end.
And while Resby does his radio announcing role on that very interesting and potentially pivotal end, our viewers are seeing a classical example of trying to bend around a center guard, trying to keep the rock ahead of the tee line, and a little mistake. It slips not only behind the tee line, but out into the open, giving some backing now for Daley Peters. Oh, but he's playing a hit. So they're just going at this wide open. Over to you, Resby, because the Carruthers game is really heating up.
Yes, at this stage you'd speculate Chambers, Richter could go to a blank. Carruthers, with his longtime coach Rob Meekin now adjacent the rings, trying to help figure out if there's an angle that they haven't seen, and quite frankly, they've got a problem on their hands. There is a red stone covering the pinhole. There's a red rock, Mickey Mouse ears, you could say, on the red rock, and both fully in the forefoot circle. A red rock biting the back of the forefoot circle at approximately 4 o'clock. A yellow on a couple of long guards, a yellow in the 8 foot on either side can be promoted.
So if you can just be full 12, that's
but
good.
the net result is unlikely to be Carruthers lying shot stone. He's really looking at how does he cut down a big end.
And Resby, I'm not suggesting for a moment you forgot to mention it because it's so busy and there's so much to say. I'll just point out that there are not 1, not 5, not 10, but 12 rocks in the rings on that sheet.
4 of them clustered around the back of the 12 foot, 3 clustered center line, 1 out to the wings. So Carruthers has put the broom down on the side, virtually on the side of one of the yellow stones. He's going to bring some heat, trying to move as many red rocks as he can with his last stone here on the third end.
That's 8 feet of curl.
Another slightly uncharacteristic mistake on our sheet. That rock over curled and went too deep. You heard them comment, it's 8 feet of curl. Well, it nearly was.
Carruthers' rock is underway, passes the guards, he does get the angle, and he does, in fact, get all the action he needed right into the cluster of 3, those Mickey Mouse ears that I talked about. Carruthers got a little bit of back action on his stone and may have, as a result, rolled back to not be shot rock.
Tight as you can. Come on. Get it tighter. Give it a bite. Give it a bite's huge. Go. Go.
That means take foam and drink back.
Carruthers got all he could possibly have gotten out of that shot.
Go this way.
Back on our sheet, the teams
this way better?
are concentrating as hard as ever, but they're having trouble executing shots at the moment. I can assure you they're not distracted by the action on the Carruthers sheet.
And there is the shot from above of that Carruthers. And the Yellowstone, you see top 4 foot, maybe shot stone.
The issue now is whether they can come down to that Yellowstone and push it back and flop in to lie 3.
Not a camera angle that you'll see in a lot of telecasts, but we appreciate having that one, just to give you that little perspective on that end. It's been a tremendously entertaining end. Not to say I've been ignoring our game, Barry, but to be honest, I've been ignoring our game.
Well, somebody once coined a phrase. I know it wasn't me, and I don't think it was you. A picture is worth 1,000 words, so thanks to our crew for giving us that side view of the Carruthers end. Oh, my goodness.
A little casual, but okay.
The intent was to have that redstone fully buried, and all of a sudden, after a couple of rocks slid behind the tee line, the teams are having a little fit of the shortses.
So they do accomplish the objective of having 2 rocks in the rings, putting Richter in a position where now he may be forced to take a single. Certainly his objective still to try to score a 2, but to do it, it'll be a skips deuce. He'll go out turn draw, wants to get past the left-hand side of that yellow center guard as you look at it from above.
Make it good, guys.
Rock just crossing the hog line.
And it does appear as if Steve Irwin has made the shot. They kicked them off awfully quick. That suggests to me that Steve Irwin with that tap may in fact have been able to score a 3. We'll see when it goes on the scoreboard.
What a lovely touch shot. Didn't overthrow it. Just enough weight to remove the rock from the back of the 4 foot on a double tap.
And while we're watching that, we see Justin Richter slide through.
Yeah, it's no heavier at all.
Back of the 12-foot circle. You can't see it in that shot, but he does lie second shot. So he's taken the top one in the 12-foot out of the scoring equation, but has left an opportunity for Corey Chambers now to make the draw to the top of the button, and Chambers now very much thinking about a steal.
I need more than one of this through.
And here again, the brush 6 inches outside the 12-foot. The speed's going to come off the rock, and it is going to bust and be fully buried behind a cluster of guards. But the brushers don't like it. This one's really running.
He is going to curl in a little bit, but he will be deep.
Good.
Sits on that top of that back stone, so effectively has forced Richter to take a single point, but an opportunity lost for Corey Chambers with that rock in the top of the 4-foot circle, biting the button, buried. He really did have a chance for a steal.
I didn't extend much on the first one. That's why I think
And to put a cap on the Carruthers game, that was a score of 3, confirmed by a scoreboard now that tells us it is 5-1 Irwin over Carruthers. The competitiveness of the Irwin team will be no surprise to Carruthers and his team, who lost yesterday to Steve Irwin and his boys, the 3 Travises.
I think it's got to go. All you guys.
It's running out there, guys.
Line's running. It's running good. Keep it moving.
So this Richter draw needs to be full 8 foot, bite the 4 foot. Good sweep, but not the full bore sweep we might see later on a more tougher shot. There it is into the 4 foot circle, a single point. It is 2-2. Chambers of Fort Garry, Richter of Beausejour. As we go to the 5th end, we'll have that 5th end for you in a moment.
Thank you for joining us for this Manitoba Championship draw, brought to you by Seagram's VO. Masterfully blended, distinctly Canadian.
At Viterra, we believe in the power of connection. Our world-leading agriculture network connects producers and consumers to supply top-quality food ingredients each and every day. Our team takes great pride in working closely with farmers to help feed the world. It's something we've been doing for over 100 years. And as an industry leader, we're dedicated to playing a critical role in meeting the needs of a growing world. Because together, we're stronger and achieve more.
Calling all curlers, novice to pro. Ashland Curling Supply's patented rotator disc system lets you customize your slider right in the store. Velcro attachments make it easy to find the sliding platform that's right for you. Shop Ashland Curling Supplies, 700 McPhillips, online at ashland.com.
Well, here we are back in the arena. It is the Yellowhead Center, Neepawa, Manitoba. We've got a picture on the screen right there. It is Craig Baker with Justin Richter, the skip of this team that we're seeing in the game today. Justin, yesterday afternoon or the evening before the late draw, received Curl Manitoba's Pat Spiring Award. Pat Spiring, a wonderful player, a player who had such a deep love for the sport of curling and for its traditions. But who played at a seriously competitive level as well. And after Pat passed way too early with cancer, he, in consultation with the family, Curl Manitoba established the Pat Spiring Award, an award which is voted on by all of the players in the competition. Specifically, it goes to a Viterra Championship competitor in recognition of a person who, to use those expressions, best exemplifies that same spirit, the on-ice curling ability combined with a love of the game, respect for the traditions and spirit of the sport. And the curlers this week selected Justin Richter to receive that well-deserved award. So not only a talented player, as we've seen, but a player respected by his competitors for his approach and his attitude toward the game.
And someone, Resby, which if the information on Google is correct, is just in mid-career, mid-age. They're saying he's 42, although he doesn't look it. But he's been around the game a long, long time. And the whole question of collegiality and character plays into everything that Pat Spiring stood for.
Those are the C words I've heard you talk about before from the late, great, tremendously great Ken Watson's book.
Important words that really, really matter in the sport of curling. Now, we saw this end start with a mistake. The Chambers corner guard slid into the top of the 12-foot circle, which, even though it's only the second stone of the end, has changed the entire complexion of the end. They were able to hit it out, and so now they're playing to squeeze the size of the scoring area down to virtually the pinhole, Resby.
Action into the center of the rings now, and this one could get interesting.
We've alluded to it before, but anyone who plays or enjoys watching the mixed doubles game, the string of granite down the center line is something that by the time the thirds get into the hack makes an end like this strategically very interesting to watch. So we're rattling the stones just enough to push the yellow in behind the 4-foot, but still to leave it as backing for the red stones.
And that big weight hit ability that we talked about with Daley Peters and Kyle Enerson is the skill that these two skips know they've got, so that allows them to be a little bit more comfortable with this style of game.
Right. No skip ever wants to get into the hack facing, frankly, facing what Reed Carruthers did in the last end. But this rock set happens to be 44-pound rocks rather than 42. They're that new. And it's no problem at all for Kyle or for Daly to rearrange 220 pounds worth, 260 pounds worth, no problem at all.
Yeah, they're probably doing that. It's pretty.
Yeah, he is.
It's not hard.
Okay, make that double.
So here comes Daly.
Is that what he's calling? Okay.
It's interesting to listen to these guys. We make this shot. He's probably going to do that. Yeah, that's what he's going to do, but I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Whoa. Whoa!
And I should have said Julian.
Curl! Whoa, straight! Straight! Hard! Okay, that works.
As we saw 2 ends ago, coming this way, the throws are good. The skips are just having a little trouble putting the brush in exactly the right spot. It's not more than an inch, but it's an inch that really matters and affects the outcome.
Well, we'll see if it's in the right spot this time for Kyle Anderson.
Hard!
His out turn.
This one's moving.
Would have wanted to run through, get at least one, got neither. So the mindset changes a little bit because they didn't expect both of those red stones to be there. So Daly Peter actually, Peters comes down to talk with Corey. What are we trying to accomplish here? So I know.
Throwing back line at least.
I know, but at least this one your rock's in play.
That's really hard though.
Unless you see something else, like we could go
Wow,
here.
the only other thing is just make the nose.
Could go there.
He's just making double, isn't he?
I know. If he's a hair wide or something, it's.
I mean, we could do that and probably blank.
All right, I like this.
I don't mind. We could get 2 or 3 here.
Yep.
Let's try to make something.
I like here. I like here with back line.
Okay, is that enough?
This isn't gonna. It shouldn't bust as hard as that side, right?
Okay.
You like here?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
So we've been talking about curling
Okay, back line.
idioms and expressions. Daly's question to his skipper, is that enough, is him really saying, I need more ice. Corey didn't budge the brush at all, which is code for Daly, I'm the skip and you're not.
It's also, I've been watching you throw, so.
Daly's out turn with a nice rotation.
It's not the big weight hit that Daly Peters can throw. It is that he wants to have his red stone, his delivered stone, hang around.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
And he may well have the answer to the question, is that enough?
It wasn't.
Probably underthrew him a little bit but from Chambers' expectations. But now both Red Rocks perfectly positioned to leave the rings.
Yep. Whoa.
Yeah, Mitch. Go, Mitchy.
A little bit more, Mitchy. A little bit more.
So in 2 shots, the end changes completely. We went from hearing Daly Peters say, if I can make this shot, we're probably scoring 2, maybe 3, to now
Thin half. Okay.
Richter lies 2. Double kill,
You like this,
fairly routine. The angle is good.
Okay.
2 things at play here. Daly wanting to redeem the last miss and feeling energized, and this one's going to be coming hard.
Whoa. 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 Yep. Whoa. Yes. Yes.
Whoa. Roll it.
Go, go, go. Good.
Didn't cross the face quite enough.
Another 6-second hog-to-hog hit. So for our viewers, that's 12 feet a second, 72 feet between the hog line.
That same weight we played in the
You
third
can
end
see
there
the
where we get
brushers
stuck.
trying to keep up with it.
That heavy control.
It's nearly
Kyle,
10
you
miles
get
an
inside
hour.
and you
That
keep
rock's
moving
really
right away,
traveling.
Just in case she starts to dance.
Meanwhile, at the far end of the ice on sheet B. Reed Carruthers throwing his rock, again facing 3, maybe 4.
Clean.
Hits and rolls out.
Whoa. Mitch. Hard, Mitch. Gotta go hard. Hard, Mitchy.
I correct myself. I think 2
hard.
of the ones I was looking at are not counting. So he is, however, facing a tremendous number of red stones in the rings every end.
Now that's a nice double angle the yellow stones have been left in. So this end, as Resby said, going from a potential of multiple points for Chambers is now going to be cleaned right up if he makes this double.
This is the Carruthers shot. Those 2 reds in the top 12 foot. Not counting, but they could be once Irwin removes the rock from the back of the rings. So we get the double kill this time. No, we do not. Yes, we do. I thought he had rolled across the face of it. So.
That, once again, is the liveliness of those rocks and the sponginess of the striking bands, but apparently they're not spongy.
I will admit that I did have someone say, what was that guy talking about with the sponginess of the granite?
The entire drive here from Winnipeg this morning, I was saying to myself, pick a word other than spongy. And you know what? I just can't think of one. They come off so lively. But those are narrow, 10 millimeter striking bands. Maybe a half an inch.
Justin Richter. Final shot of the end. This end should go through to a blank.
He has his draw weight firmly in his back pocket. Always a nice mid-game confidence booster. Heading into the 5th end break.
So this will go to a blank, and Reed Carruthers comes to the hack to throw his final stone of the 4th end. He does apparently face 3. It is that long shot that we're not 100% sure of, but he's playing a run on a yellow stone just on an angle. Corey Chambers is playing on routine open hit.
Clean.
He's got it.
Does make the blank. So it is a blanked end. It is the 5th end break. Scored 2-2. Reed Carruthers' rock is underway, and he is going to make, just hang on with me, an angle. Bang, bang, bang. 3 red stones move. 1 stays for shot rock. Second one may have stayed for shot rock. For sure, a steal of 1 for Irwin. We'll tell you what happened on that when we come back after the 5th end break.
You can support your curling club or the curling club in your community by buying tickets now in Curl Manitoba's online 50-50. After you win the big prize in the March 31st draw, 100% of the proceeds will be dispersed to the curling clubs of Manitoba for their use as needed. All you have to do is be sure to click the button to assign your ticket purchase to the curling club you wish to support. To purchase your curling club's 50-50 tickets, go online to fundingchange.ca/Curl Manitoba or scan the QR code on your screen now.
It means coming together, helping one another, being there, showing support. That's community. Getting together with your chums you want to curl with.
It's important to volunteer, help out as much as we can.
I love curling.
I love curling.
RME, proud sponsor of Curl Manitoba and the Scotties Women's Provincials. With 10 locations in Manitoba, RME is your preferred Case IH equipment dealer. RME, right by you.
Curl Manitoba is proudly sponsored by Manitoba Pork, locally grown, globally preferred.
Why not? Just watch. Why not? Keep scrolling, I slide. Why not?
As a broadcaster and Hall of Fame football player, I'm constantly in the lab of life. For 15 years, my friends at Knott Auto Corp have been pioneers as well.
Why not?
Introducing Winnipeg Car Lab, custom car wraps, graphics, and auto
Why
services. Winnipeg, why not get in the lab?
Curling in the small town part of Manitoba is really big in the winter. It's something for the community to do, and it really brings the community together. We can hold annual events like our Bonspiels and our weekly nights. It's really something to do for everyone in the community. You can do it from any age.
Where can you find handmade delicious pizza, classic burgers, scrumptious salads, and the finest Manitoba-sourced pressure-cooked fried chicken? From small towns to big cities with 38 locations, Chicken Chef is comfort food you can count on. We're your made in Manitoba chicken choice, and pizza choice, and salad choice, and so much more. Chicken Chef, bring your appetite. We'll take care of the rest.
You work hard to keep it all together. And when you need a little help, we're there. At PharmaSave, we see you.
Live well with PharmaSave.
You can win a pair of tickets for the 2023 Tim Hortons Brier in London or the 2023 BKT Tires and OK Tire Men's Worlds in Ottawa, plus $500. Or maybe equip your team with a set of 4 of Asham's new Ultra Force brushes. And at the same time, support the Manitoba Curling Hall of Fame and Museum and Curl Manitoba's Curling for Life Endowment Fund. Raffle tickets are available now. 1 for $5, 4 for $10, 10 for $20. Buy online at fundingchange.ca/Curl Manitoba or scan the QR code on your screen right now. You can get your tickets now for the Progressive 50-50 in support of the Neepawa Curling Club and the Yellowhead Center by scanning the QR code on your screen now. The final draw will be February 12th at 3:45. Tickets are 1 for $3, 2 for $5, 5 for $10, or 12 for $20.
At McMunn & Yates, we've always believed that good neighbors make for better communities. McMunn & Yates has everything you need for your next project, right at your fingertips. And McMunnandYates.com will always be there, ready to help.
Well, we are back in the Yellowhead Center in Neepawa, Manitoba. A tight game between two very talented teams. And we've got an interesting situation developed. The opening shot of the game, or of the end, Corey Chambers blanked that fifth end to leave the score at 2-2. A little bit of interesting byplay as well. The Chambers team standing behind the scoreboard at the away end, chatting while Justin Richter and his team were putting their first rock in play. The timeout break was ending. They put their first rock in play. Corey Chambers wandered down the side of the ice just to get there in time to look down to find out if this rock is biting or not. A very important result on that measure. Ken Rutter making the measure, making the indication that it's outside the rings. That a half inch more changes the end completely, doesn't it, Barry?
Completely, especially because the preliminaries are over, Resby. So I hope our viewers have enjoyed the first 5 ends. Forget about them. The 5 ends are the money ends, and Corey Chambers has the hammer in 6. May have 3 hammers to 2. That is to say 6, 8, and 10. With Justin Richter having the hammer potentially only in the odd-numbered ends. There are only 2 of those left, 7 and 9. So Chambers is going to want to maintain the advantage right here, right now in the sixth end. If that rock is in the rings, it's hittable. It being where it is, half an inch outside the rings, it can be used as cover for Corey to try to build a force of one or even a steal of one. That said, the reality is half an inch outside the rings with the run back ability of these teams, it might as well be in the rings.
Well, it took you a long time to get to that. So, Corey Chambers and Justin Richter, Fort Garry team from Winnipeg, Beausejour team from Eastern Manitoba. And fair to say, what has been accomplished through the first 5 ends of the game is A, they have switched who has last rock. B, they've had that amount of time, an hour and a half almost, to study the ice, to learn the nuances, to put on a real show for us over the next 5 ends.
And we saw something that you'll see time and time again. During the 5th end break, the ice was not repebbled, but it was mopped. And as much as the first center line guard of Justin Richter's team almost made its way to the rings, the second lead stone slid right through the rings. That mopping makes that much of a difference to the speed. And time and again, you'll see the teams being reminded of it by their coaches if they have a coach. But if you forget, it can cost you. And it cost Justin's team here. They're on the back foot now.
Chambers removes that, or Richter removes that Chambers biter, and to put a cap on the Carruthers Irwin 4th end conversation, that rock didn't work as well as Carruthers had charted it out in his mind. In fact, a steal of 2 on the board. So a 2 gave up a 1, scored a 3, scored a 2. Steve Irwin does leave Reed Carruthers 7-1 playing in the 5th end.
Whoa, whoa. Yep. Yep.
Looking to get a nice roll.
Good, good, good. Yeah, I'm just saying, like, we're just choking our corner time.
Richter looking to go past that guard just off the center line.
The problem being, of course, that it's the wrong color, but he's got to try to make use of it anyway.
Up. T-line, guys, T-line. Mitch. We're over.
Looking at the other 2 games, we've given you a lot of action on the Carruthers game, but I can tell you that Braden Calvert and Matt Dunstone are tied at 2, playing in the 5th end.
It probably is.
2 singles by the Calvert team, a deuce by Dunstone in the 4th. And Dunstone has 4 Yellowstones in the rings. Calvert 2 reds and 1 long red center guard. That one's going to be interesting. Ryan Weeb with a 3 and a 2. JT Ryan with 2 1s, so Ryan Weeb leads 5-2 playing the 5th.
Whoa.
Julian Leduc's draw is underway.
Weight's pretty good.
Richter Stone overcurled a little bit, sits back 4 foot. Leduc's draw is going to be just that little bit heavy. He's going to slide back into the 8-foot circle.
Even though it's the 6th end, and even though there have been a lot of rocks played down the center path, and even though these athletes can lean on their brushes heavily, the center path pebble is still holding up well, and the speed is still there, and we aren't seeing anything close to fudging in the rings. And both of those stones the Richter stone and the Chambers stone were a little bit heavy.
Go. All you got, all you got.
So he's going to draw around to the top of the 8-foot circle. Reed Carruthers, on the other hand, is going to be throwing a big weight hit up the center line between a couple of red stones. If he can make the double kill that he's trying, he'll be lying 4. So he's not ready to concede yet. Daly Peters hit underway.
Never. Jeez.
Oh, that's pretty good.
He does move everything that was in the rings, does leave the one Yellowstone.
Daly's a perfectionist, so most of us mortals, club curlers, would be pretty happy with that shot. Daly wanted to hit it right on the beak.
Wanted to see them all fly. Carruthers makes his shot. He's lying 4 against Irwin. They're looking at which turn to throw to get a draw back to a cluster of 3 stones in the back of the 8-foot. Cut the end down.
Where? T. Coming down now. Jared's rock.
But focusing again on Chambers, Richter.
Hard. Go. Good. Whoa.
The draw is 2.
Shot.
Top 8-foot circle fully buried.
Yeah. Nose. Yeah.
And while you might have said, back to thinking about Chambers being forced, he's not yet ready to concede that. He's playing the run back with Daly Peters.
This one's close. Stays behind cover.
Yeah, just around it.
So Brent Irwin, I did it again, my apologies. Steve Irwin picks out 1 Yellowstone. Just didn't run quite straight enough to get the 3 at the back of the rings, and he's left Carruthers what appears to be a hit for 4 with his final stone in the 5th.
If not, just top 4.
Justin Richter lying 1. Peters with his run back has the second shot.
Line's good. Keep it out there. Line's good. Where are we? Mitch's rock.
I'll try to get you that picture of the Carruthers final stone here on the 5th end. Carruthers down.
This stone is coming in beautifully.
Hard, Kyle, go.
And here comes Reed's delivery.
Keep her going. Keep it going.
So Richter does draw buried, biting the 4-foot. So here's the shot. Reed Carruthers coming into the top of the rings, slides right by that red stone that he was trying to tap. And so yellow, Carruthers has scored 2 there. They may have to measure the other one. We'll report to you whether or not that's it. No, they've kicked it off. So that would appear to be, given that Carruthers is playing a hit, that would appear to be a swing from a possible 4 to a 2, and that all by itself may tell you exactly why Reed Carruthers is down 7-3 in their game.
No. Good to that? Yeah. Okay. It's like a soft hack.
So Corey Chambers comes to the hack. No distraction now. The Carruthers team and the Irwin team have left the ice for the 5th end break, so Corey Chambers will try to slide past that center line guard, get a little tap on the rock in the back 4-foot, and roll in front of the other Richter stone.
Whoa! Curl! Straight! Whoa! Curl! Right on it.
And makes that beautiful finesse shot. It's almost impossible to say how hard that shot was.
Well, it's everything that was said earlier about the first 5 ends being preliminaries, knowing exactly the correct weight to throw, Daly knowing exactly when to call the sweepers on and off, and most important of all, knowing between Daly and Corey exactly where to put down the brush for the line of delivery. That's a magnificent shot.
At least this makes him
That
chase
took
something again.
6
he probably
ends
just plays
to
straight draw
develop.
the middle. But that's fine.
So Richter now
Same way, guys. Same spot.
needs to get this final shot, his final shot of the 6th end, into a position all of a sudden to keep Corey Chambers from scoring a 3.
Kyle's more room. More room. Kyle's rock. Where is it? Looks heavy. Find a good spot, no double. Gotta go. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah. Yeah, go, 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 go.
It might have just slid far enough to eliminate the double.
I think you're doing normal, aren't you?
They're worried about the red stone going over the top of the yellow stone, and this yellow stone just drizzling back.
Yeah, you probably could too.
But I think it's there. You can listen to them because they're far more perceptive than I am, but they're definitely looking at the idea of trying to get a 3 out of this.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
So there's the situation. They looked at, and they genuinely think that that double is there for 3. But you'll see that wiser heads prevail. They've gone to the wings. They will draw to the button for the deuce. A 2 in a 2-2 game, playing the 6th end on the home end outweighs that minimal risk of ending up giving up a steal.
And that's a nice little interaction as Daly was squatting behind the brush he's holding for Corey. Richter said, "We were kind of hoping you'd try that double." That's pretty neat.
Oh, then.
Hit it early, Jules.
It's all you. Take a look. Hard, boys.
But having elected to play the draw, they've got to have it. It's
Hard.
the good sweep going on.
Go, go, go.
Okay, bud. Tough one.
And it does pull up short in a 2-2 game, a lost opportunity for a draw to the 4-foot for that second point doesn't come to pass. It is Corey Chambers 3, Justin Richter 2, as we go to the 7th end in Neepawa. We'll be back with that in a moment.
Today's sponsor, PharmaSave. Canada's community pharmacy is proud to support Canada's community game.
At McMunn & Yates, we've always believed that good neighbors make for better communities. McMunn & Yates has everything you need for your next project, right at your fingertips. And McMunnandYates.com will always be there, ready to help.
You can support your curling club or the curling club in your community by buying tickets now in Curl Manitoba's online 50/50. After you win the big prize in the March 31st draw, 100% of the proceeds will be dispersed to the curling clubs of Manitoba for their use as needed. All you have to do is be sure to click the button to assign your ticket purchase to the curling club you wish to support. To purchase your curling club's 50/50 tickets, go online to fundingchange.ca/Curl Manitoba or scan the QR code on your screen now.
The 2023 Manitoba Men's Curling Championship, the Viterra Championship. Barry Gorlick, the 98th Manitoba Men's Championship. Isn't that it's just special to be part of a tradition that old.
Isn't it, though? Yeah. Being hosted in a town, Neepawa, that was incorporated in 1883. It's kind of fitting to have a nearly centenary of this wonderful bonspiel taking place in a community that's been around this long?
In fact, the community's been around just 5 years longer than the Manitoba Curling Association. The original Manitoba branch of the Royal Caledonian Curling Club was established in 1888. And of course, you being a student of history will be able to answer me, was there a curling club in Nipawai in 1888? And if so, why were they not at the formative meeting of the association?
Thank you for that question. I will answer by saying this. I know to a moral certainty that the Granite Curling Club in Winnipeg was founded in 1880. I'll speak to some of the older members there when I get back and ask whether they were aware of Nipawai existing.
I can tell you this. The history of the association, which has become an interest of mine to study and read about. In the history of the association, there were 5 teams at the meeting on December 1st of 1888. 7 clubs, the Winnipeg Thistle, the Winnipeg Granite, invited 5 rural communities to come to a meeting. The interesting thing to me is that not all 5 showed up, and 2 others uninvited did show up. So the storyline is that the invitation went to the curling clubs in Virden, Brandon, Carberry, Portage, and Stony Mountain. The clubs in Virden, and one assumes the invitation was extended because those 4, Stony Mountain close, but the other 4 on the rail line. So they could have made the trip to Winnipeg to attend the meeting. But for whatever reasons, still unknown in my research, the Virden and Brandon invitations went unheeded. Simply easy to speculate that distance and time would have been the factor. Carberry, Portage did show up. Stony Mountain did show up. Morden. And who am I missing? Stonewall?
Right.
Were the ones that did show up. So that was on the 1st of December of 1888.
Thank goodness, Resby, you gently referred to the fact that it was probably distance. I was worried that it might have been an early indication of that very vibrant rural-urban tension that exists between Winnipeg and, say, Brandon, at least according to people who've talked to me.
It is entirely possible that was the indicator. But I think legitimately you would think that distance would be the factor. So after an interesting 6th end,
the history lesson came in handy because your commentators, ladies and gentlemen, have certain talents. One of them is not characterizing a wide open end as anything other than a wide open end.
Every indication here that Justin Richter would be quite content to play through to a blank to flip that hammer situation. We can tell you, folks, this is by far the closest, most entertaining, perhaps not the most entertaining of the games, because one looks across to see that Braden Calvert has put a 4 on the board to lead Matt Dunstone, the number 1 seed, by a score of 6-2. As we've talked, Steve Irwin leading Reed Carruthers 7-4. Ryan Weeb leading JT Ryan 6-2. And our game,
we're both going to have 22 minutes.
All single points as
Look at the clocks.
Chambers leads Richter 3-2.
I like the line. We got to switch. Bit of room right now.
So Richter finally gets an opportunity with his third. Kyle Anderson.
Go, Jared. Now to come.
His first stone of this 7th end. He'll go behind his corner guard.
Look at that stone go sideways.
Very nice, boy.
Like falling off a hill, except there is no hill. It's just the...
Bites the corner of the V on the Viterra sign, and Daley Peters will throw the in-turn run back. Just misses it. leaves a guard that leaves the white rock or the yellow rock somewhat open, but a guard certainly that Justin Richter is now going to go behind, changing gears from willing to play for the blank to thinking maybe we go for a deuce. First two in this game could very well dictate.
You go early on this one.
Where's it?
Bit less.
Good.
It comes down to Daly making a double or not.
Line's good. Top
And,
12, top 8. Jared, go.
That and the seventh end is
Line's good.
one of
Yep.
those,
Yep.
well,
Go, boys, go.
I don't want to call
Go
it
now,
a PSN
go.
turning point,
Go, 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 go,
but
go.
how about a Curl
Very good
Manitoba
pair, Kyle, boy.
YouTube
Which way are you trying to make it, high or
turning
low?
point?
Or
Resby.
I think we can call it that. We're going to see Daly Peters attempt that run.
Yeah.
4 feet to the first yellow. 4 feet to the second yellow.
This shot matters. Let's think about that acronym, though. Curl Manitoba YouTube turning point. A commit or a CMIT, perhaps. We'll work on that, viewers, between games. This one has to be made.
For sure, he's got to make contact on one of these yellows.
Yep, yep, yep. Hard! 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 Oh, boy.
Difficult to ascertain whether or not that
Shot,
rock
Corey.
is out of the rings at the tee line.
Yeah.
Suffice to say that the red rock is fully buried and beating it, even if it is a biter.
Round it again.
So now the force is on.
Stays all the same, right?
Unless Richter can bury one,
Goes in real nice at the end, guys.
turn it into a deuce.
Pardon me? Yeah. I feel like we're good. We just got to get buried. I feel like that's a
Little snug.
Line's fine.
Line's
Above
fine.
tee if we can.
Close.
Line's fine.
Whoa, whoa,
Richter's
whoa, whoa, whoa.
first stone. He'll
This one
slide to the tee line. He's going to slide deep.
This has to slow down.
Chambers sweeps and does sweep it right through the rings.
So there in two shots could be the turning point of this game. And the only thing missing is us settling on a proper acronym.
So it does turn from could Richter manufacturing a deuce to Corey Chambers establishing a force. One rock biting the top of the 12-foot, fully buried. Chambers will try to put a second stone open in the rings. He's going to force Richter to the hit or draw facing two.
All right, boys, it's crossing. Knock it out, it's fine.
His front end likes it.
Put it
They're
back
still
here.
smarting from his last stone in the last end.
Yeah, keep going. Keep going.
That's good, 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 good.
Good. Yep. Might have been edge.
So facing the deuce here on the seventh end, Richter will go to the hack to throw an out-turn draw. He's got to draw full 4 foot. Just about. He can be an inch or two short of the 4 foot, but he'll be thinking 4 foot or button.
Same. I just straight heavy. Put this nice on the tee, boys.
It's nice to see Daly Peters has seen it all through his own career and as a youngster, as a very interested spectator of his dad's career, but he's keeping Corey Chambers loose.
He really is. He's
Still think we're all there.
pretty relaxed about it. And no mistake, he draws to the tee line. It is a single point, so once again, a 1 goes on the board. It is a 3-3 tie. Corey Chambers, Justin Richter will be back with and number 8 momentarily.
We hope you're enjoying this Manitoba Championship Sunrise Morning Draw, brought to you by Sunrise Credit Union, building a brighter future together.
RME, proud sponsor of Curl Manitoba and the Scotties Women's Provincials. With 10 locations in Manitoba, RME is your preferred Case IH equipment dealer. RME, right by you.
Where can you find handmade delicious pizza, classic burgers, scrumptious salads, and the finest Manitoba-sourced pressure-cooked fried chicken? From small towns to big cities with 38 locations, Chicken Chef is comfort food you can count on. We're your made in Manitoba chicken choice, and pizza choice, and salad choice, and so much more. Chicken Chef, bring your appetite. We'll take care of the rest.
Six single points on the board in our 2023 Viterra Championship game between Corey Chambers of the Winnipeg Fort Garry Curling Club, Justin Richter from Beausejour. 6 singles, a 3-3 tie. Chambers continues to control the hammer in the even-numbered ends. He'll have last rock. Richter goes into the rings with the first rock, not deliberately. Chambers asked for a corner guard.
Well, that's the 5, though. I know, but the last 2 ends, it's carried better. Oh, he hogged it last minute. Well, he also threw it here. Yep.
That's perfect dialogue for our viewers. They're talking about the 5 rock. So ordinarily that would be the third man's first rock, Daly Peters' first rock. He had a couple of misses early in the game. He obviously disliked the rock. It wasn't him, it's the rock. And he passed it down the line now to the lead, and they don't like the way it's running.
Steve Irwin on his sheet of ice with a big weight hit. Just misses there. He had a chance to pick that yellow rock out, so Reid Carruthers has stolen a single point. Pulls that game to 7-5. That one's going to get interesting. Matt Dunstone, I believe, has been forced to a single. We'll get back to you on that one.
Maybe a little. You gotta go. Hard. Yeah, we're right on your roof.
This time, the corner guard over curls a little bit, I think, from the line they would have wanted. They would have wanted to be on that stylized M at the end of the McMunn & Yates sign logo.
The greatest amount of movement they've seen all game, but with 3 ends to go, you don't mind saying, Resby, it's mid-morning, but this is why I decided to hit the highway at 5:30 this morning, because watching these 3 ends is going to be just plain good fun. These teams both want the win desperately. They need the win desperately, and they're going to need to take some chances.
Sorry, Jared. Maybe a little too much.
It is an elimination game in the championship round, the round of 8 teams. Chambers or Richter and the teammates will go home.
And as nice a drive as I had across the prairies on a Saturday morning, neither of those teams is interested in enjoying a similar drive, at least today.
Good rock.
So the Duke plays past that corner guard, makes contact, bites the top of the 12-foot circle.
Out of my nose. Right in the nose.
Richter will be happy to get the nose hit, set up a pair of guards to work with.
And Corey Chambers is happy to have another open end unfolding, because frankly he would be more than pleased to blank 8, blank 9, and have the hammer in 10 coming home for the win.
I can tell you Braden Calvert with his final stone made a draw to a Dunstone rock on the top of the button.
Good.
Dunstone really did have not a shot And as a result, the game sits at 6-3. Calvert has last rock, playing the 7th end. Interestingly, our game is almost a full end ahead of the other three. These guys have been playing with pace.
Even that's interesting. The thirds on both teams are in the hack. You can't see it on the images through our feed, but they're in the hack, ready to throw before the other team stone comes to rest. And then throwing a lot of upweight shots in our game, keeping the ends clean, has put them almost a full end ahead.
And it's not to say the thirds are not involved, because they have both on occasion made the trip down the ice to make sure they were certain of angles or certain of what the skip was thinking. So it's just that they are playing
Just for weight.
a very quick game.
It's going to overcurl if anything. Just needs to slide.
This is sliding.
Oh, it's sliding lots.
JT Ryan has scored a 3. He trails Ryan Wiebe 6-5 now.
Thought that split he would have been.
Probably almost do that, eh? Yeah. Sure, why not? You had one bank here. Control? Yeah.
Control weight, about 10 seconds between the hog lines, giving the sweepers a chance to move it across the face of the target rock with Daly's intern to try to get the big roll in behind their red stone to the right of the center line, the left as we see this image.
Just past the guard. He does get the hit, the roll, but rolls, in fact, too far. He curled too far across the face and rolled right out of the rings. So Richter will ask Kyle Einarson with now his final rock here in the 8th end to go behind that yellow guard that sat there for most of the end.
I like it. Just top 8 would be great. Right here.
Weight's good.
Just for weight. Line's real good. It's overcurling if anything. It just needs to die. No, Mitch. No. That's a good one, Kyle. Oh, boy.
The only way to keep the stones from over curling is actually to have them stop at the top of the 8 foot. So although that's well placed, it's this end isn't going to turn on a scoring rock being as far away from the button as an 8 foot.
Really hard.
So, and here's one of the instances that I was talking about. Daley Peters was at the hack ready to go, but he has, knowing he's got lots of time, he made the trip down the ice to talk with Corey Chambers at this critical point in their game.
The best shot is a draw shot around the 2 yellows, but it's also by several orders of magnitude the toughest shot on this swingy ice. There's barely a path there.
If I fuck it up, yeah, that's bad.
Yeah. Like we have to run it this way, right? Like.
I don't see much else.
I know, it's just we're just giving them this. No, we're running it this way, Shem. Yeah.
Well, I mean, what's the other option? This draw?
Could do there. That's really hard too.
It's almost impossible.
Go this way.
It's interesting on club ice, either the draw around the red with the outturn or the draw around the yellows with the outturn is makeable. On this ice, they're saying it's really, really hard. Again, curling code for it's just not there.
The interesting thing here, Barry, though, you commented on that rock top 8 foot not being a rock that was going to score, or at least may not be. It is a rock that is so well positioned that they believe they have to get rid of it. It's an extra 4 feet. If they'd got that to the tee line, they can play past it on either side.
Exactly.
So we're going to see, because it is a Daley Peters heater run back.
He'd like that one back. That one he set a little bit full.
Someone draw to the pin juice, eh? Here?
So Richter will go around the red rock that sits just off the 12 foot, a few inches off the center line.
And the force looks as if it's on.
Pardon me? Right behind the red. Obviously, try and stay above T-line guys in this one. If we
That'll
can.
be the mindset with this shot.
Yeah.
Force him to one.
As much gap as you can, right? Because he might be playing
Things
a lot.
work perfectly.
Might be playing slash.
Maybe next shot you think, how do we steal?
Speed's still the same. Let's make it real good. Okay.
First of skip stones here in the 8th end. It is Justin Richter with his in-turn draw. Wants to get to the center line as he's approaching the top of the rings, and then curl a foot or so in behind that guard that sits just outside the center of the rings.
14.6 seconds hog to hog. What a perfect speed.
And he does put it on the tee line, biting the button, right in behind the red stone. The run back or the draw to the face of it.
Anywhere here and he's scoring. You just got to score, though. I peel it off, it's fine. Man, even if you make a good shot, he throws the fucking guard, we're done.
Well, no, we can get shot out of it, Dale. Like, easy. I can get the nose if I wanted to.
Well, it's just throwing it here. Just throwing it anywhere in here. Can't
If we're
score.
shot?
What's that?
If we're shot?
Well, if you're shot, he's just hitting it. But then he scored.
How is he hitting it if I'm here?
Well, yeah, you got to move it then.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to move it. Like, you can't freeze it, right?
Easily there.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
I haven't had a bunch of success with soft stuff.
All right.
Corey really
Yeah,
wanted
just
to
deliver
try coming down to that shot yellow rock and bump it back and keep it as backing. And I suppose a less than encouraging comment from his third, an accurate one, but less than encouraging. We haven't had a whole lot of success with the soft stuff during this game. Convinced Corey to try the actually easier shot and safer shot, a run back.
The run back has the potential to set Chambers up for a 2, but he's got to stick it.
Okay.
Gets rid of it.
That's just okay.
Rolls to the center line, but leaves now the opportunity for Richter to bury. If he does bury, leaves the button wide open, but getting into second shot stone position again puts the force on.
The problem is the red stone is overlapping the yellow stone, so there's no red run back that's going to be available. So the earlier reference to success with touch shots, we're virtually guaranteed that Corey's going to have to make a successful touch shot with his last one.
Little tight.
Close
Little
line.
tight. Close, yep.
Yep.
Yep. Hard for line. Hard.
Big shot here for
Hard
Justin Richter.
This is really moving.
Whoa! Whoa!
Does get by the guards. Will slide deep.
14.2 seconds, so it was hot the whole way, but they had to brush it.
So effectively puts the force on Chambers. 2 yellow stones in the rings. He's got the relatively routine draw. Just needs to touch 8 foot,
I think
really.
you want to kind of stay in the good stuff, though.
I agree.
Yeah.
They're taking extra ice to take advantage of the fact that that path near the edge of the 12-foot has had far fewer rocks down it. You heard Daly refer to the good stuff. That's the pebble that is still holding up better than the pebble in the center running area of this sheet, especially this deep in the game.
The Chambers draw. Out turn. Needs to be to the 8 foot.
He gave it a nice little add at the end.
Hard, boys. Never off.
All you. All you. Go. Take a look. Well, then don't sweep it.
14-3. Should be back 8 foot.
Probably a little tighter to the guard than he really wanted to be, but he makes it to top of the button. Maybe would have got to the tee line if they hadn't kicked it off first. So again, a force of one, a single point goes on the board, the 7th single of the game. Chambers leads 4-3 after 8. They'll go to the 9th, and we will see that 9th end in just a moment.
Thank you for joining us for this Manitoba Championship draw, brought to you by Seagram's VO. Masterfully blended, distinctly Canadian. You can win a pair of tickets for the 2023 Tim Hortons Brier in London or the 2023 BKT Tires and OK Tire Men's Worlds in Ottawa, plus $500. Or maybe equip your team with a set of 4 of Asham's new Ultra Force brushes. And at the same time, support the Manitoba Curling Hall of Fame and Museum and Curl Manitoba's Curling for Life Endowment Fund. Raffle tickets are available now. 1 for $5, 4 for $10, 10 for $20. Buy online at fundingchange.ca/Curl Manitoba or scan the QR code on your screen right now.
Curling in the small town part of Manitoba is really big in the winter. It's something for the community to do, and it really brings the community together. We can hold annual events like our Bonspiels and our weekly nights. It's really something to do for everyone in the community. You can do it from any age.
(4-3) Corey Chambers and his Fort Garry team over Justin Richter and his team from the eastern Manitoba community of Beausejour.
The good news is for our viewers, you're going to see the complete end following the commercial break. Center line guard called for.
We'll jump across quickly. Braden Calvert has scored a single point. He leads Matt Dunstone 7-3. Reed Carruthers has come all the way back after that 3 that we saw a while ago. He stole 1, he's now stolen 2, and that game is at 7-7, playing the 8th end. Ryan Weeb leads JT Ryan 7-5. That guard slid that little bit too deep, and immediately we see Justin Richter peel it off.
He rolled out for sure.
They'll try again. But even this places them at a disadvantage because the idea of double guards now is a problem.
Put him in a room. Room, Dale. Whoa. Whoa. It's okay. Daly's rock again. We're okay. Yep. Okay, whoa. Line.
Right to the McMahon and Yates logo.
Good. Stop. Good.
And still hugging the center line.
Almost curled across it, but does stay there, so it can't be touched yet.
And Chambers, Richter is done with the idea of corner guards on this sheet, and he's going right after it. Beating Chambers into the scoring area.
Nope, never. It was like, I don't know. Hey.
That sure died.
Jillian Leduc.
Yep.
An out-turn hit. Target rock wide open in the 4-foot, butting the button past the guard.
Hard!
Just slid by it. Looked as if it was going to wreck.
Good.
I think it touched it.
Okay, boys, let's make this.
No, Jake.
The cigarette papers still exist, Resby? If they do, I can tell you.
It's that close, yes.
Yep. Whoa.
Kyle!
Well, this one for
Kyle.
Jared Litke is not going to be close to the guard. He is going to make a little bit of contact, roll wide, right out of play.
Advantage Chambers.
Yeah. I got light. Hard early.
Second of second stones here for the Chambers team in the
Whoa. Gonna come up your side.
ninth end.
Tee at least.
Comes to the center line. He's going to get to the tee. He's just going to get deep of the tee. Deep of the 4 foot.
A little bit of a misjudge there. You heard Daley Peters say, I got light. Whether that's just his years of experience judging it or whether he's taking what's called a short split time from the back tee line to the hog line at the delivering end, it was overbrushed a little bit.
Overcurled enough that Richter is asking Litke to play the in turn at it. It's going to get pretty much to the nose.
Control? Yeah, let's show control, but actual control. Yep. Whoa. Whoa. Curl. No, never. Right. Okay. Made it hit the stick at least. Pretty good for me.
Rolls open now, and Richter will, in fact, try to roll back over to bite the 12-foot circle. Certainly over in that direction, but a bite of the 12 behind that yellow guard would be a wonderful result.
Close. Yep. Good.
Yeah, Richter doesn't want to fool with the center scoring area at this point in the end. Although he's going to anyway.
He's going to anyway. He certainly looking at rolling to the outside, crosses the face, rolls to the inside.
And this is the problem. A perfect freeze here is going to be a world of pain for Richter.
He's playing a little bit of about hack weight.
Whoa. Curl. Hard curl.
Oh dear.
Hard.
I would suggest overthrowing a bit on weight. Does make the contact. Is he going to push it out of the rings? Yes, he is. So not a complete miss, but certainly a little overweight for the call.
So now we're keeping it clean. Peeling the center guard.
Yep, yeah. Hard. Clean.
Kyle Anderson
Make sure it goes.
bangs it right out of play, rolls away.
Over.
Blank is on.
That's ballsy. Don't rip it. It probably will rip it.
Well, you can't. You can't come around. Like if he puts it over here, to come around, I make the roll. Right?
It's an interesting time. These guys know each other so well.
I'm fine with it if you like it.
You hear Daley Peters say, we put the guard up, he'll rip it. Corey says he has to rip it. He won't go around in case he goes open.
Sure.
And part of that is a realistic assessment, but part of it is a little bit of mind manipulation, perhaps. Saying flat out, vocally, verbally, out loud, he doesn't have the courage to try the draw. If I put the guard here, he's going to have to rip it.
And adding to the fun is Daley turning and making eye contact with both the skip and the third, and laughing in what seemingly is a happy way, but there's a message there.
Sure. What are you going to do, boys, if we do this?
But this is fun. This is why they play the game.
And it does tell you that while it's a serious competition,
Like 2 feet
it's
out
a
of the
game
ring.
they do play for fun for the most part.
Easy, it looks there. Yeah, it looks in. Looks very closed in. Looks like it's past my feet. Okay.
Well, we'll never know, because if it's in the rings, for sure Justin Richter's going to hit it.
Ideally. I mean, even if you hit roll here.
He wouldn't mind actually jamming on the Yellowstone. Then he'll have a biter in the rings.
Even nose. I know. Heavy control.
Yeah, he's actually probably trying for that, because among
That same heavy
the
control,
range of difficulty of
if we hit right on the
takeout
nose,
shots,
it's good. If we
a
roll
hit
all the way over to
wide
ours,
to the
that's good.
wings is far more difficult than something near the center.
Sound good?
But it would take a lapse in concentration based on the skill levels of these two skips.
Richter, the intern hit. He'll try to hit high side of the rock near the center line, roll to the wings.
Whoa! Whoa!
He does have that yellow catcher
Go,
over
go.
there.
That's good. Go, go, go!
Leaves it in play. He didn't want to roll across and be out of play, because he would have seen Chambers draw behind it.
Touch it in?
I can touch it in.
Yeah, no, that's bad, yeah.
So there with the intern.
Yep.
Yeah. Little roll in's good. If I beak it, he can just beak it right back.
Yep. Oh, oh. Yep, 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 yep.
This looks good.
Hard. Hard, 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 hard. Good.
Rolls to the center line. Maximum distance now that Richter has to roll to blank the end. A game of singles. 4 singles by Chambers.
This one's real nice here.
3 by Richter. He'll try to blank this one. Doesn't want a single here. Love to be in a position to score 2 coming home for the win.
Yep.
The odds of which
There you go,
are
Kyle.
slightly
Hard,
better than
Kyle.
50% with hammer one
Hard!
down.
Hard!
So Richter with his hit, he is going to stick for that single point, the unwanted single point, an unforced error, and Justin Richter gives Corey Chambers last rock coming home in a 4-4 tie. We'll be back with that home end. Justin Richter will be all out for a steal when we come back in a moment. We hope you're enjoying this Manitoba Championship curling, brought to you by Seagram's 83, Manitoba's favorite Canadian whiskey.
Where can you find handmade delicious pizza, classic burgers, scrumptious salads, and the finest Manitoba-sourced pressure-cooked fried chicken? From small towns to big cities with 38 locations, Chicken Chef is comfort food you can count on. We're your made-in-Manitoba chicken choice, and pizza choice, and salad choice, and so much more. Chicken Chef, bring your appetite. We'll take care of the rest.
Eat. Meet.
Stay.
Can-Add Inn's destination centers are your home for hospitality, with 10 locations in Manitoba and 1 in North Dakota, featuring the finest in accommodations, food and beverage, entertainment, banquet and conference facilities, and so much more. For the best service and best value, your only stop is Can-Add Inns. Call today at 1-888-33-CAN-AD or visit us right now at canadins.com.
An unforced error. Justin Richter, open hit up the center line, needed to roll out of the rings to blank, rolled almost out of the rings, takes a single point for the 8th single point on the scoreboard in 9 ends of elimination game play between Corey Chambers and Justin Richter. So Richter takes a single, and it will be Chambers with last rock coming home.
Run over that fly.
That little trailer. Richter's first guard attempt must stop short of the rings, does not. Changes the entire end. That rock short of the rings gives Richter something to work with, but slides to that inch or so bite of the top of the rings, allowing Corey Chambers and his team to play a hit.
Yep. Yep.
Keep the end wide open will be Chambers' strategy. Clutter it up as much as possible will be Richter's policy. If he can roll this one in for a biter,
Great shot, Shep.
it is the point that Chambers needs to win. If that rock sits there for the entire end, it is the opportunity to score that point even if a last rock hit happens to roll out of the ring. So a really important roll to get that little nibble.
Try and touch center,
Richter
guys.
will ignore it. He has to ignore it.
Gotta go, Jared.
Mitch
Gotta
Anderson
switch.
is asked to put that guard up on the center line. If he doesn't get to the center line,
Bring all
the
you can, buddy. All you
Chambers
can.
team will have the opportunity to play the little tick shot.
Hey, Mitch.
And he does not quite get to the center line, so Chambers will ignore. He could play the tick on it, but doesn't. He'll go around it.
What's here, Dale? Yeah. That house isn't horrible. Okay.
The Chambers draw is going to slide deep. In fact, it's going to slide right through the rings. A lost opportunity as Richter will look at going around. So compared to a pretty well-curled game, a couple of early misses. That first rock slides into the top of the rings to bite.
Touch the white.
Wonderful shot to hit and roll over for another bite by the Chambers team, but then following the guard, they go deep, slide right through. So, and it would appear here that the Richter team also is just going to slide deep of the tee line. Jared Litke the second. And this one is open for Chambers to hit and roll.
This is interesting. It's almost as if the teams can't believe how well the ice is holding. 10 ends into a game with the amount of traffic down the center line, and yet the speed is still there, and somehow they have to reprogram their brains from the many games they play at clubs across the province and elsewhere to realize that they can trust their stopwatches.
So that rock rolls back 8 foot. In the end, will have no real bearing on the final stone that counts in this end, I would suggest. Jared Litke is wanting to get into the 4 foot behind the guard, top 8 foot.
The only way for it to be game on is for this stone to stop above the tee line and covered.
So like hack. Guard's fine. Forward. Okay, forward.
And yet with that 10 or so feet of separation, the guard is really not there. Although Corey Chambers did acknowledge that rubbing the guard off is an acceptable result.
Yep.
It's Julian Leduc's final shot of the end.
Curl. Curl. Hard curl. Hard.
Once again, rubs and rolls. A good result for him to actually remove that rock from the back of the 8 foot and roll wider.
It's not always sportsmanlike to hope for a miss, but at this point, the Richter team is needing a miss.
No, we're back.
It's almost through, guys. Easy.
And I don't mean with their own stones.
Good of you to clarify on that one. So the Lichty stone, in fact, Kyle Anderson stone does slide deep into the 4 foot, deep of the tee line.
Okay.
And now with a couple of red rocks over on the side, they elect to peel off the guard.
Whoa. Curl. 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 I think you're fine.
I didn't want to touch that.
I know. We're way over it.
Yeah, they got a little excited on that one and overthrew it or threw it a little wide. Just got the rub. Lucky did not kill that biter.
On the McMunn.
Daily excited is not an oxymoron, right?
Kyle Anderson, they'll look at trying to place a guard, knowing that Chambers is going to hit it, but knowing also that the yellow rock in the back of the 4 foot is probably not good enough to win the game. They've got to figure out how to get one better than that.
Jared's rock. Jared's rock. Gotta go. Gotta be tighter than that. Go, go, go. Go. Go, Jared, go. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Good. Good.
That guard is good enough that Corey Chambers will try to remove it.
Curl. 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 Clean is good. Good.
Once again,
It's not illegal
Daly.
to go clean. It's not illegal to go clean. That was
Skip rocks to come. Richter with the stone in the back of the 4 foot circle.
Same spot. That was a great spot, Kyle.
We can tell you that the comeback is more than complete over on the Carruthers sheet of ice. They stole a 2 again in the 8th, so after being down 7-1, they scored a 3, they stole a 1, they stole a 2, they stole another 2 to lead 9-7 playing the 9th end. Braden Calvert leads Dunstone 7-4. Calvert with last rock playing the 9th end. Ryan Weeb leads JT Ryan 7-5.
Good curl, bit.
Bit of room.
JT Ryan is last rock playing the
Gotta go,
9th.
Kyle. Hard, Kyle. Hard, guys.
The Richter guard attempt needs to be deeper than they've been getting them. We'll get closer to the rings. Almost 12 foot. The Corey Chambers run through.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Right on the nose. Ice. Across. Yeah, nose for ice. Just inside, I think. Okay. No. Yeah.
Be happy to hit and roll away completely, although this time the risk of contacting his biter is real. It may not matter anymore. With only one Richter stone to come.
the way he throws the rock, actually calling for negative ice.
Whoa! 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 Girl! Roll!
Straight through run.
Okay.
Ends up with the best possible result. Second shot and a guard on the center
I
line.
feel like we've been losing this overcoming, and we're going to come here. Let's go back to this spot. Let's go right. Not there, because then he
Gives Richter the opportunity to play a draw to the top of the button. Maybe a big chunk bite of the button, fully behind cover, but with the protection of second shot.
You can. There's some value to that. You go here. The cat knows. He's got to push that all the way through. That's pretty tough. Right? I think that's the spot. Just touch the floor.
Okay.
Like that?
I like it. Like,
I mean,
he might
truly,
try to run,
truly, we just have to. If he's running for the win, that's fine. He's drawing.
Yeah.
Touch the floor.
Okay.
We just have to count that, really.
Yep.
Okay. Take our draw the pin ice.
And if we come a little deep, we come here.
So that conversation is an interesting one, Barry. The question, if we come too deep into the forefoot, will he play the run back? We've seen their ability and their willingness to play the run back, so he really doesn't want to be able to let him hit for second shot or hit for shot rock.
Hit for shot rock. They respect their hitting ability generally and their run back ability specifically, and especially on that center line path.
If he can't know his hit.
So much that he wants to try to pull that option out of his hands.
Let's just go dead Barry. Just
Not a conversation that would happen at the Wednesday Night League at any club in the province. But especially that center line path, they now know it to the millimeter.
So we'll see with final stones to come.
We got room.
Justin Richter with his final rock here. The yellow
Line's
rock
good.
that needs to
Line's
pass
good.
that red guard,
Right here.
get to the
Line's
top
good.
of the 4-foot circle.
Just touch the floor.
Whoa. Just here. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, we got lots. Whoa, 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 whoa.
And this one is over curling. It's essentially wide open.
He did over curl.
I think the first shot of this game involved an over curl on a guard attempt. And the last shot of the game for Justin Richter, unfortunately, involved an over curl.
So we're going to see him play past the guard, lots of room.
Two really strong brushers.
And so he should pretty much stick biting the 4-foot circle. Any roll at all, he might have a little bit of a catcher there. Risk. So that last shot of the end, last shot of the game is underway. It is Corey Chambers with an out-turn hit. Needs to get that hit, needs to get that stick. He is going to roll. Is he going to roll too far? No, he is not. It is a single point. It is a 5-4 victory for Corey Chambers over Justin Richter. So Chambers will advance. He awaits a game now at 2 o'clock, his next elimination game, because for Justin Richter, the competition is over. A 5-4 loss, and Richter and his Beausejour team will step aside. We're going to take a break, but we're going to come back and show you the final couple of ends of the Reed Carruthers Steve Irwin game after this break.
We hope you're enjoying this Manitoba Championship Sunrise Morning Draw, brought to you by Sunrise Credit Union, building a brighter future together.
RME, proud sponsor of Curl Manitoba and the Scotties Women's Provincials. With 10 locations in Manitoba, RME is your preferred Case IH equipment dealer. RME, right by you.
You work hard to keep it all together. And when you need a little help, we're there. At PharmaSave, we see you.
Live well with PharmaSave.
You can support your curling club or the curling club in your community by buying tickets now in Curl Manitoba's online 50-50. After you win the big prize in the March 31st draw, 100% of the proceeds will be dispersed to the curling clubs of Manitoba for their use as needed. All you have to do is be sure to click the button to assign your ticket purchase to the curling club you wish to support. To purchase your curling club's 50-50 tickets, go online to fundingchange.ca/Curl Manitoba or scan the QR code on your screen now.
Bonus coverage for you here from the Neepawa Viterra Championship. Our camera angle, as you can see, not quite the perfect angle, but good enough to show you the story. Reed Carruthers facing a couple behind a corner Irwin guard. Knocks one of them out of the rings, giving Steve Irwin the opportunity for a last rock draw. And he will be drawing for 2 to tie. We remind you that early in the game, after 4 ends, in fact, it was 7-1. Irwin over Carruthers. Carruthers finally got things going on the next end with a 3, stole a 1, stole a 2, stole a 2, 8 unanswered points to lead by 2 playing here in the 9th end. This is Steve Irwin's draw for a 2 to tie. Carruthers will have last rock coming home. Connor Negaman comes out to the top of the rings to give it the brush. May be able to brush this one through, in fact. And does, so Steve Irwin, head down at the hog line at the other end, knows he's lost the opportunity. He was going to be in trouble tied coming home without Hammer Barry, but down 1 without Hammer. He definitely is in trouble.
Yeah, the data, now that the no-tick rule is in play, isn't complete enough to draw any good statistical analysis, but based on the old data, which is extensive over the last 3 years, Reed has upwards of a 70% chance of winning, whether in the regulation 10 ends or if there were to be a steal by Steve Irwin with Hammer in the extra ends. So this is a game that has seriously fallen Reed Carruthers' way after he was a little late getting out of bed, it seems.
And there's an indication. You've got to acknowledge the ability not to, down 7-1. We just got to hang in there. If we can score a couple, well, it turned out they scored a 3. If you can score a couple and steal 1, they scored 3 and stole 1. So now the game is back on, and then things we didn't watch as closely as we might have, so we're not 100% sure where it all went, but we do know that the Carruthers hit for 4 at one point over curled, and they only got 2. So that game has obviously been one of misses, shall we say, as much as makes.
And not that Reed Carruthers needs very much assistance in understanding the mental and emotional side of the game, but remember that early timeout that we saw them take where longtime coach and pal and mentor and confidant Rob Meekin came out. You can just imagine the settling that would have happened then and the further settling that would have happened at the 5th end break, because it's the tale of 2 different halves of a curling game.
Well, they went into the 5th end break very positive, having just scored a 3, and that the game changed from there. So center line guard, Carruthers goes around it, not buried, but Irwin, of course, needing to steal, needing a 1 to tie. He'll play that draw to the top of the 8-foot circle, try to get to the center line.
And now Reed Carruthers' sole job is to bang every red rock that comes anywhere near his yellow counter. he's certainly got the firepower to do it. With Connor Negevin having had the added benefit 9 ends into the game of having already thrown 27 rocks.
Exactly, yeah. There you go. Negevin, Samogolski, Carruthers playing with 3 here in Nipawin. Irwin now with shot rock behind the guard. He'll try to seal that off. Travis Brooks. Don't be fooled by the scoreboard on the corner of the visual, folks. That game, oh, my eyeglasses weren't as good as they should have been. I thought we still had the old scoreboard on. My apologies to the Big Day Media production staff. They were way ahead of me. We look across where Braden Calvert has just thrown a rock into the 4-foot and scored a single point for an 8-4 win. So the number 1 seed, Matt Dunstone, will go to the B side of the draw. An elimination game at 2 o'clock for Dunstone. Calvert, meanwhile, advances to the championship round. And if we reflect back, Barry Gorlick, I can't give you chapter and verse, but I'm going to say that 3 times Calvert and Dunstone played Manitoba Junior final games. Calvert won 2, Dunstone won 1.
Correct.
And that tells you how close these 2 young teams are. Dunstone has traveled a little more widely than the Calvert team. Calvert team has stayed close to home, but showing you that the Calvert team and Braden Calvert head-to-head with Matt Dunstone is still a match worthy of watching. But Calvert is now going to be into the championship round and has 2 more opportunities coming from the top side of the page playoff.
So Reed Carruthers can't run up to the sole red center guard of the Irwin team quickly enough. It will be gone.
Removes it from play. Last game on the ice, Irwin, Carruthers. Carruthers up 9-8, coming home with hammer. Ryan Weeb and his team from the Fort Rouge Curling Club in Winnipeg have eliminated J.T. Ryan and his young team from the Assiniboine Memorial Curling Club. That was the other elimination game on the draw here today.
Essentially, the entire 8-foot is open to Reed Carruthers to get to with a final draw shot. So he's more than happy to, well, I was going to say ignore the redstone, but as it turns out, our angle isn't perfect, but I guess it's essentially open. So he's going to knock it out of there, leaving Steve Irwin with a guard that is so far off center that even sinking one perfectly behind it down to the tee line will leave Reed the 5-foot or 6-foot scoring area if he even needs it.
So the red rock has gone from the rings. I was wondering if Irwin would think about another guard, but he decides that he will try to use the guard he's got.
You'd almost like to set up a double guard Resby because he somehow, he's got a fashion of steel. But this isn't working out the way he planned.
And this draw is going to slide deep into the rings. In fact, it's going to slide through the 4-foot and through the 8-foot and through the 12-foot right out of play. Carruthers now rips off the guard, and final result pretty much determined by that draw.
Yeah.
It probably was predetermined anyway.
We haven't been able to keep a close eye on that game, but unfortunately a misfire like that, regardless whether it happened earlier in the game, in the 10th end, is a team as talented as the Carruthers team is going to take full advantage of it.
So the guard is gone.
So where do you put one? Do you freeze one down to the rock just behind the tee line? Sure. It still leaves virtually the entire 8-foot though.
That rock will slide into the rings, trying to get across and cornered onto the yellow rock in the back. Excellent execution.
Yes, even though that little bit of a tap is, in the world of Reed Carruthers, a very important miss. If he knows hits his yellow stone that he's got his brush against now, the red stone is gone. That yellow may be gone too, but he doesn't care about that. He actually wouldn't mind both yellows and the red leaving the rings. Nothing then for Steve Irwin to hide behind or to come down to.
Reed Carruthers, an in-turn run back. Well, he didn't get the result he wanted, and he did leave that red rock in the edge of the 8-foot. Irwin says our best option is to put one on the other side in the 8-foot, anticipating that Carruthers will play a hit and maybe roll out.
Some viewers will be wondering whether a skip like Reed Carruthers might just play a cold draw to the 4-foot regardless, and he might. But again, we haven't had our eye on this sheet closely enough, but based on the fact that we've seen a couple of rocks go deep and one even slide through, there may be something going on with that center path that's making it tricky to gauge the speed on.
At least in their minds.
And that's the part that matters most.
It really is. Steve Irwin will try to put it across the center line to the 8-foot circle at the tee line. Little deep, but red does lie too. Carruthers will play the same hit that he just played. can't think about rolling too much because of the jam back on the yellow. Pretty much nose hit, however, gives him a win.
And what's interesting, if Reed were to try to follow the path of Steve Irwin's last rock, it doesn't look as if he were to come all the way down to it, he would be shot. So he's playing the hit. Again, he's had one practice try at it. And now he's thinking about it again.
He's coming back. Interesting. What's this about?
Playing his intern.
Is he changing the weight call on the hit, or has he changed to a draw? Certainly changed the ice.
Yeah. Well, I'll get my stopwatch out and we'll figure it out. I'm assuming he's playing the hit.
With a little more ice, therefore a little less weight.
Correct.
Than on his previous. We'll see in a moment. It is Reed Carruthers in the hack for potentially the last shot of the game.
Yeah, he's playing a nice down weight hit.
There's the curl to the nose of that Redstone. Does make that nice gentle tap hit, rolls over, not quite biting the button. So Reed Carruthers puts a single point on the game, a 10-8 victory. Carruthers over Irwin. Carruthers drops now into the championship round. Irwin drops to the elimination round of the field of 8. As we mentioned earlier, Ryan Wiebe defeated JT Ryan. JT Ryan eliminated. Wiebe plays on. Chambers over Richter. Chambers plays on. Richter eliminated. And Braden Calvert pushed Matt Dunstone to the elimination side of the draw. And so Calvert and Carruthers advance there in the championship page playoff round. Barry, a final thought before we leave the day?
If this is the beginnings of the next 4 games we get to admire, I won't even say call, admire, we're in for something very special. Perfect ice, teams all over it, wonderful venue, and our viewers are in for a real treat.
And that treat comes at 2 o'clock this afternoon when we return to the Neepawa Arena and the 2023 Manitoba Viterra Championship. Resby Coots and Barry Gerlich, we will be back at 2 o'clock. You can get your tickets now for the Progressive 50-50 in support of the Neepawa Curling Club and the Yellowhead Center by scanning the QR code on your screen now. The final draw will be February 12th at 3:45. Tickets are 1 for $3, 2 for $5, 5 for $10, or 12 for $20.
Curling in the small town part of Manitoba is really big in the winter. It's something for the community to do, and it really brings the community together. We can hold annual events like our Bonspiels and our weekly nights. It's really something to do for everyone in the community. You can do it from any age.
You can win a pair of tickets for the 2023 Tim Hortons Brier in London or the 2023 BKT Tires and OK Tire Men's Worlds in Ottawa, plus $500. Or maybe equip your team with a set of 4 of Asham's new Ultra Force brushes. And at the same time, support the Manitoba Curling Hall of Fame and Museum and Curl Manitoba's Curling for Life Endowment Fund. Raffle tickets are available now. 1 for $5, 4 for $10, 10 for $20. Buy online at fundingchange.ca/Curl Manitoba or scan the QR code on your screen right now.